Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Today we're looking at the future of work.
Specifically, AI and what it might mean for your career.
We've got some really interesting stuff to dig into today.
A recent Forbes article about Goldman Sachs predicting massive job losses from AI. A couple of videos too with Emad Mostaque.
He's got some really bold ideas about where AI is headed.
Right.
And we've got Julia McCoy's take on if college degrees are about to become obsolete.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So it should be a fascinating deep dive.
Let's jump right in. Okay, so Goldman Sachs.
Their report predicts AI putting 300 million jobs on the line.
Wow.
300 million. That's almost everyone in the U.S.
I mean, before we panic, can you give us some context here?
Yeah, I think, those headlines were definitely meant to get our attention.
But you're right, it's not as simple as robots taking everyone's jobs tomorrow. It's more about how work itself is going to change.
Okay, so nuance over panic, got it. But what does that actually look like?
So imagine this. You're not just competing with other people for work anymore.
Okay.
There's this whole other workforce out there, able to do tasks faster, cheaper.
Writing, data analysis, all sorts of things. Emad Mostaque, in one of the videos, he calls it AI Atlantis.
AI Atlantis.
Like, we've discovered a new continent of workers digitally ready to go.
That sounds, I don't know, utopian, but also a little unnerving. Like, is this good for everyone, or are some people going to be left behind?
That's the big question, right? And like most things, AI, the answer is complicated.
The pace of change is unlike anything we've seen before. Mostaque, he says the cost of AI is plummeting, while its power is skyrocketing.
That's a potent combination.
And yeah, it's going to be disruptive, to say the least.
To pretty much every industry out there.
So, AI Atlantis is growing fast.
And bringing big changes with it.
But the Forbes article,
It really focused on white-collar jobs.
doctors, lawyers, even programmers.
Right?
Makes you wonder, are college degrees going to be useless?
Yeah, I get why people are asking that. Julie McCoy, in her video, she talks about this McKinsey report.
They predict something like 30% of jobs automated by 2030.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean robots are taking over completely by then. Full automation, like nobody at the wheel, that's still a ways off.
AI is good at specific tasks, but a whole job, that's more complex.
So it's not like Tuesday morning, poof, no more lawyers.
Exactly. It's how those jobs are done that's changing.
Like we've all heard about AI diagnosing illnesses.
Right.
Doesn't mean no more human doctors.
Just means they can use AI to be more accurate, faster.
So AI partners, not replacements.
Yeah, and that ties into this cool concept Mostaque talks about.
Centaurs, like half horse, half human.
Yep, that one. Obviously no horses in the office, but the idea is relevant.
It's about this human-AI teamwork.
Yeah.
Humans bring the creativity, critical thinking, the human stuff.
AI brings the speed, data crunching, pattern spotting, like superhuman stuff.
So we got to learn to work with it, not against it. I like that. Less Terminator, more Iron Man.
Right.
But how do we get ready for this centaur future? What skills do we need when AI is changing how everything works?
It's the right question, and Mostaque addresses it directly.
He says, think of it like this.
Okay.
You're a carpenter. Someone hands you a super-powered saw.
You're going to refuse because it might put you out of a job.
Or use it to build stuff you never could before.
I'd at least try the saw.
Right. That's the shift with AI.
It's a tool. Learn to use it, not fear it.
So focus on the skills AI can't do. Critical thinking, problem solving.
Creativity, emotional intelligence, being adaptable, all that.
Those are what set you apart when AI handles the boring stuff.
And be a lifelong learner. The skills you need in 5 years might not exist yet.
So what you know matters, but how fast you learn matters more.
That's honestly a bit intimidating. Where do we even begin?
Be curious about AI. Try out the tools, don't be afraid to experiment. And remember, it's not just surviving the future, it's thriving in it.
Curiosity, yeah, I like that.
But it's easy to get caught up in our own little bubbles, right?
Sure.
Mostaque talks about this too, like democratizing AI.
Not letting it just be a tool for the big companies.
Right, that's crucial.
We keep saying it, but this AI Atlantis, it's got potential downsides too.
If only a few have access to these tools, that's not good.
It's just going to make inequality worse, right? Like imagine only some people or giant corporations benefiting from AI.
That's not the future we want.
So how do we avoid that?
Democratizing AI, making sure everyone has a shot at using it.
Okay, so not just the yachts rising with the tide, everyone benefits.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about companies like Mostaque, Shelling.
They're building AI infrastructure that's open, accessible.
So even small businesses, individuals, they can get in the game too.
That's huge, levels the playing field a bit.
Right. It's about everyone having a chance.
I really feel like we're on the edge of something big here.
But before we wrap up, I always like to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay.
So imagine this. You get to design your dream job.
In this Centaur future, AI takes care of the boring stuff.
What are you doing? What does that look like for you?
It's a great question. Really gets at what matters here.
Like reclaiming our humanity,
If AI takes the draining tasks away, work becomes less of a drag.
Yeah.
You can focus on the interesting problems, innovation, connecting with people.
Work that doesn't feel like work, that's an idea I can get behind.
Thanks for diving into this with us. Really appreciate your insights.
Happy to be here.
And to everyone listening, stay curious, embrace the possibilities. Who knows, you might just invent the future of work yourself.
We've talked about how the flamingo, like, represents Florida's, one-of-a-kind environment,
Right,
its economic potential.
right.
What about the mockingbird? Does it hold the same weight when it comes to those things?
Well, the talking points argue that it doesn't really hold the same economic weight as the flamingo, and
Right.
it's not as big of a draw for tourism.
Okay.
And, while it's part of the ecosystem,
Right.
it's not considered like a keystone species in the same way that the flamingo is.
So it sounds like the mockingbird might be, like, losing its perch in this
Uh-huh.
debate based on its, current relevance.
It might be.
Okay, so, but wait. Didn't those talking points mention something about a hurricane, though? That seems kind of random.
No, it's not random at all. It's actually like a really interesting development.
Okay.
Hurricane Idalia, the one that just hit Florida,
Yeah.
it seems like it might have brought a bunch more flamingos with it.
Whoa, hold on. You're kidding, right? A hurricane helped the flamingos.
It seems that way.
How does that even happen?
Hurricanes, as destructive as they can be,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
they also displace animals. And
Yeah.
sometimes that creates these new ecological opportunities, And in this case, it seems like Idalia might have pushed a big flock of flamingos up from the Caribbean
No.
into Florida. It's
Yeah.
too early to say for sure.
Right.
But this could be a major turning point for the flamingo population here.
Wow. Talk about a plot twist. So just as this whole debate is heating up, a hurricane throws a whole new flock of flamingos into the mix. That's wild.
Mother Nature works in mysterious ways.
That's for sure. That is for sure. So this has been quite the deep dive, I have to say.
It has.
Catchy songs, economic arguments, ecological concerns, a little bit of
A
history,
little bit of
a
drama.
little bit of drama, even a hurricane thrown in for good measure.
Right.
Where does this all leave us then?
Yeah.
What does this whole debate ultimately say about Florida, do you think?
I think it tells us that Florida is a state that's constantly changing, always evolving.
Okay.
And I think this whole debate over the state bird is really a reflection of how Floridians see themselves and what they value, right?
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Do they identify more with that historical resilience of the mockingbird or the vibrant, unique, appeal of the flamingo?
I love that it's not just about, which bird looks better on a flag.
Exactly.
It's like the stories we tell ourselves about who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
So what will the future hold for Florida's, feathered friends?
Who knows?
Will there be a changing of the guard on the state flag? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess so.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
But here's something to ponder, okay? I want everyone listening to think about this.
Okay.
If you were designing, a flag for Florida today, which bird would you choose and why? What does that choice say about, your vision of the state?
Oh, that's a good one.
I know, right?
I like that.
A little something to think about.
Yeah.
Thanks for diving into this with me. It's been so interesting.
Oh, of course. It's been my pleasure.
It really has been, an eye-opener.
It's a fascinating topic.
And to everyone listening, Keep those deep dive suggestions coming. You never know what we'll uncover next.